Hello everyone, just now for something completely different. I'm going to be talking about bringing archives alive and using technologies to tell the stories of our past, in particular to what we are doing at Dunedin City Council. So I'll be taking you through some work I've initiated, working with archival material in our collections and transforming it into accessible storytelling using technology. DCC Archives is part of a wider council department that has a large IT component. I'm part of digital services, and then we have a wider information services with all the techie guys. The physical archives collection are in the basement of the Civic Centre in the Octagon, with minimal customers who visit in person, which is probably a good thing. We have no exhibition or gallery space. Over the last few years, I've published our collection out to the public with our online collections on our Flickr platform, which has hit over 4 million views and made the content all open access. I have continued our popular Flashback Friday segment on the DCC Facebook page, which has run for 5 years every Friday. But I wanted to do more. How could we further harness technology to tell some of our interesting Dunedin stories? And what story to tell? We focused on the Octagon, where we're based, and the idea was to make the best of our location. The Octagon is full of people, locals and tourists. Many tourists wait on buses to take them back from the cruise ships in Port Chalmers after visiting the city, and we have a massive cruise ship season now running from November to about end of March. And they often wait in lines for the buses for quite some time, up to half an hour before the bus arrives. What if we could promote heritage to these people with nothing more than their phones, rather than waiting for them to enter one of our archives or libraries or galleries? But how to do this? There are many heritage buildings in the Octagon, but we wanted to try and give the public some different heritage history. So what would be interesting? Things that are not obvious to the public would be great, really great to highlight. And this leads me to my favourite topic of anyone who knows me, toilets. So bear with me. My area of expertise is on historical underground toilets in Dunedin. In fact, I just completed my Master of Arts on the topic on Friday. Yay! And a fully digital thesis first for Otago University, I might add. What if we gave people a history on these long-gone structures? They are certainly unique structures that have long disappeared in Dunedin, and it's a point of difference in our collection. The public are very interested in them, and they're interested in anything underground and secretive, as about once a month I've booked to give talks about them. So the public conveniences, just to give you a brief history, have changed significantly over the years. From the underground Edwardian style in the early 1900s, you've got one, and the gentleman's one is in the Octagon, and used to be in the middle of the Octagon, and the other one is in bottom of London Street, which outside a pub now called the Bog. To the more familiar style of the stainless steel concrete block styles we all know from the 1960s. So this style was designed for easier cleaning and to prevent vandalism, which was a massive problem, and it was cheaper to build than the undergrounds. So in the collection of the Dunedin City Council archives, we have all the original plans for the toilets. All are beautiful watercolours. Using these plans and original specifications for the contract in 1909 that we still hold, the information was designed into a 3D model. These particular toilets were in the Octagon and were demolished in 1989. They had a gentleman's side and a lady's side, and they were the first women's toilets to be provided in the city. They were extensively remodelled though in 1965, so the original style has long been forgotten. However, we have recreated this to show what they were like. So I collaborated with Michael Finley of the design department and the company Museograph at the Otago Polytechnic, and to design this model that enabled a user to walk through the subterranean space. So there's no interior photographs of conveniences, surprise, surprise. They're very rare, and there's certainly none of Dunedin at all that we can find. We have no idea what the spaces looked like back in the early 1900s. And this is a render of the underground space. So I think it looks quite beautiful. They were designed to be aesthetically pleasing, with porcelain interiors imported from England, with arts and crafts style decorative tiles. They had marble bench tops and kauri wood detailing. They were seen as really modern, keeping up to date with Europe, and importantly, hidden underground, as it was thought bodily function should be out of sight. Architecturally, they were described as superstructures of their day, and very different from today's toilets. And the coloured tiles in this render are actually uplifted from actual photographs of the one surviving above-ground toilet we have in Dunedin. So these are from the Manor Place toilet we still have. So a prototype model was designed using a virtual reality kit. This is me shakily walking around it. We have publicised this through the DCC Facebook page to show the public the type of thing we can do. It also features, at the start, a very long gone statue, which has actually created a lot of questions, so we may focus on that as well. And this is walking down the very tight stairs, which are difficult to get down. And at this stage, this is all white. None of the materials have been put in, and you can see the beautiful skylights and that went to the above ground. So the VR kit, though, is very cumbersome, and those who have used it will know that only one person can use it at a time. So it's not that useful for the public. So I had more collaborative meetings with the Otago Polytechnic departments, and I brought together design and IT lecturers, and we offered the project of designing this. Just click that. To their students as a project. So Mitchell Briggs, a third-year IT student, took on the challenge, and he designed this app that can be used with a phone and a VR headset, which was much more accessible and transportable. With his version, he has added a bit of colour and greenery and has incorporated some of the tile design from the other one. So there are also information graphics as you walk along. Anytime you see, at this stage, it's just a question mark, but we may change that symbol. And you can hover over the question mark and it will give you some historical or architectural heritage information. And we're also looking at putting audio over the top of this. So you're in the underground space, and one of the wonderful things Mitchell added to this was that you can actually shut the doors and you can turn on the taps. Which you'll see in a minute. So you're in the lavatory here. They're very tiny spaces with the little windows at the top. They had electric ventilation systems, which is very modern for the time. And again, there's one of those questions where we could hover over that and then have a person talking or something to that effect. So that's one of the attendance type rooms there, and you can go and shut the door and turn on the taps. Amazing. So we further trialled Mitchell's design at the famous Vogel Street party in Dunedin in the historic warehouse precinct. The event often combines technology and heritage together, so it was a perfect place to showcase this type of emerging technology. Has up to about 10,000 people attending. We had a stand where we showcased the technology, and we had a great uptake by all ages having a go. For many, it was the first time using this type of technology, and we received absolutely fantastic feedback. I also taught many people about toilet history, whether they liked it or not, and they in turn shared some fabulous stories and memories of the conveniences they had, which there are many. So the next step of this is we plan to make this into an actual app where you don't have to have the headset and people can hold up their phones, maybe a QR code, something like that, where they can stand in the actual Octagon space and travel underground. So our other project is further 3D modelling based on the Municipal Chambers in the Octagon. It's a very iconic and often photographed heritage building in the Octagon. And up a very old ladder through a very tight space, and not for the faint-hearted, are the clock workings. And only a few people are even allowed up into this space. I had to go. And we've got the clock here, video of the clock. You can hear it whizzing and whirring. So this is quite dramatic when the bell goes off. The workings go up and down the whole tower, and the noise is actually terrific when you're in the space. But no one ever gets to see this. No one's allowed to see it. So we thought we might use photogrammetry, which is the use of photography in surveying and mapping to ascertain measurements between objects. So using this photogrammetry, we'll be taking hundreds of images, stitching them together to create a 3D model of the moving shape, hopefully. We have had a prototype of the work done, and the aim is to enable the public to be able to access this via an app on their phone down on the ground and be able to see the space and move around it. And there's the stairs that you have to climb up. We can also display archives images from that same vantage point up on the bell tower. The photo, the historic one there, is taken about 1914 from up in the tower, and the one I took on a bit of a grey day in Dunedin was a lower level down because I didn't want to go up the next stairs, but it's the same sort of view. So our next steps are to do the photography work in December, in the next couple of weeks, on the bell tower, and we hope to develop both of the work into apps next year, hopefully still working with the Otago Polytechnic students, and we hope that they'll be quite successful with those people in the Octagon. Thank you.